growing up overseas, didn't always have the best resources or testing for diagnosing ADHD, but it was quite obvious from teachers' responses, my grades, my inability to concentrate in school. And whenever we did come back to the States, actually, my mom did take me for testing. And so I was always in learning resource type classes. But actually, as much as teachers recommended prescribing me with Ritalin or whatever, my parents were always very much against it. And I actually appreciate that because it allowed me to find what I enjoyed not only in school, but just the act of learning and outside of school as well. When I did get serious about school after doing a year of AmeriCorps and receiving a scholarship, I had a friend who recommended I try Ritalin, and so I went and was prescribed, and for the first time I was on the dean's list for a good reason, and my grades went up significantly. And with that, over the next 4 or 5 years, I was able to get into architecture school, and that was really great. But there was a few things about being prescribed for that on that medication that was borderline debilitating. Which one was I didn't have the best ability to be creative, which is pretty important in architecture school, and so my designs were lacking, and although I was able to focus and read textbooks and absorb what I was reading, I wasn't there creatively. And then there was the obvious symptoms of loss of appetite, inability to sleep, mood swings, anxiety, and that is kind of an easy transition into what makes Daily Essential Nutrients so helpful to me, is that I can take it, which is a vitamin supplement that naturally provides micronutrients and trace elements that you need anyway, without all of those side effects. And I think something that I mentioned earlier was that I'm able to take it and start myself off correctly right away during the day. And so when I take it, it's not, I need something else to keep myself going. I make the right choices nutritionally, and just everywhere else in my life. And also now that then when I was 20 years old, when I first started taking Ritalin, and now taking Daily Essential Nutrients, I need something that allows me to focus and without the side effects, especially since I have 3 children and I'm married and have so many more responsibilities that require me to not only be able to focus and make a living, but also be a great parent and husband. And so, yeah, that's part of the reason I think that I initially wrote the review, which I've never done before, is because it was so helpful to me, and I'm very much science-based, and I did a lot of research. When I first started taking it, I just actually was part of a company that dissolved based on lack of work, but I also was putting in 60 hours a week, and it was hard for me to fathom why I wasn't able to do that, why I wasn't able to perform at that job, and the company, which was really on my shoulders, a startup firm, kind of dissolved in that manner. And my wife, for about 2 months, had been telling me about Daily Essential Nutrients and Hearty Nutritionals, and so I started to read it, and maybe 2 months after that position and that company dissolved, I began taking Daily Essential Nutrients, and it was really helpful right off the bat. And I was just able to focus, and a couple of the symptoms too are side effects to Ritalin, and later on I took Adderall, is you always feel this need to continue taking it. And that's not the case with daily essential nutrients. The other part of the reason I contacted you after taking it for 2 years was my oldest son, has begun taking it, and we immediately saw improvements in just his ability to focus, but also his enthusiasm about learning. And it was just a couple of nights ago where my wife and I were cooking. His brother and sister were on both sides of him playing, and he was doing math homework. And I was like, I couldn't do that, at all. This is making me emotional, but I couldn't do that on any type of medication. And so the fact that he was just hunkered down, completely focused, was just like, I feel like such a testament to daily essential nutrients, and yeah, and just how much it opens, how much it benefits every other aspect of our lives. You're covering all those micronutrients. What would be in a multivitamin is all in this one pill, and it's, and especially right now with what we're dealing with COVID, it's, it's interesting because, my wife handed me some zinc pills, the other night, and I said, well, let me look at what I'm taking here, because I'm pretty sure it's like at least 1,000%. So that's another thing, is like, one, the non-addictive properties. Two would be what is actually in that supplement, which is really everything you need. And so what's being put into your body, being very helpful and healthy in so many ways. I would say, similar to the lack of addictive properties, would also be just the not having those side effects. I mean, it affects you so much. When I've taken Ritalin, I've taken Adderall, and I have a very difficult time, and I'm a pretty strong-willed person when it comes to these things, of being like, I'm going to stop taking it, I don't need it, or taking it and saying to myself, oh, well, these side effects are, it's, collateral damage, for lack of a better term. Whereas with daily essential nutrients, I can take it and feel as though it's covering all my bases nutritionally, and it's not going to compromise my sleep, which is very important, as you know, as a parent, as well as appetite, and staying on. It's so easy, especially now, once again, to be home and just be like, I'm going to snack. And I could say right now, if I was taking a prescribed medication, over the counter or non-over the counter, like class 3 narcotic or whatever, that would be something that would be very difficult to control those urges, and to be able to focus on what I need to. I think another trait, if I can say third or fourth, about daily essential nutrients is the level of focus when I take it. So with those other medications, oftentimes there is no off switch. There's no ability to concentrate on what you want to or what you need to. With daily essential nutrients, it's a focus that doesn't really heighten your anxiety or energy level, and so therefore I'm able to focus on really what I need to and what I want to. Whereas with those other medications, and I have friends who still take them, and I say, that's really the downfall, is that, if you don't have that work, what you need to be focusing on right in front of you, you could apply that to anything. You could focus on whatever you want to. And so many times when I had my own business, I would find myself going down the rabbit hole of something completely irrelevant or non-related. Whereas daily essential nutrients, I'm able to focus on really what I need to. And knowing that it's providing me with, something that my body needs, and that when I'm not in front of the computer and working, I'm a decent person to be around.